welcome to another Thursdays with Four. And today what we're going to do is make a real fun classic taco pie. And we're going to cook it in the Dutch oven. And what I want to show you, let's see here, we'll go through the ingredients. So what we need is one pie crust, and we'll pre-cook that to form, and then we'll put the fillings in. We need a package of cheese, and you can use any kind of cheese you want. We got cheddar jack here today. Well, there'll be 1 pound of hamburger, and this is the taco seasoning to go with it. Veggies, we've got a couple tomatoes, a green bell pepper, and like a medium-sized onion. If you have other vegetables, you can put those in too if you'd like, or substitute. We've got a can of diced green chilies. I like to put a little bit more tomatoes in there, so I got a can of diced tomatoes, a can of pinto beans. I'm going to drain off the liquid, put those in, and then we're going to use just a half a cup of salsa in there. Alright, so today we're going to cook it in our taco pie in a 12-inch Dutch oven, and I'm going to show you a little trick that I have. My wife had bought these 2 cake pans years ago and cooked with it and didn't care for it that much, so I was going to bring it to the Goodwill, and I said, wait a minute, let me try cooking with these in a Dutch oven. And so I wanted to share this little trick with you. What I do is I have both of these, and I put one on the bottom like this, and then this is the one that we're going to cook the pie in, and we put it right on the top. And so then when you put the lid on, now you elevated that pie up off of the bottom. And if you can kind of think of the Dutch oven as like a traditional oven, so when we heat this up, you're actually cooking the pie in just kind of this pillow of hot air. And I've had a lot of good luck with not burning things, and that's worked pretty slick for me. Alright, so what we do is you just take a can of spray, oil spray, and then just lightly coat this pan, try to get the outsides, and then we will load in the crust, roll that out. And while we're doing this, I started the coals, so as soon as those heat up, then I'll warm up the pan, the Dutch oven, and then we'll get this crust, cook it. This will cook probably for about 10 minutes to kind of get the form, and then we'll fill our pie. Off the hamburger. There's a taco seasoning. 3/4 of a cup to the water. We'll bring this up, and then we'll let this sit, and we'll get the vegetables ready. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is preheat. The coals are ready, so I'm going to preheat our Dutch oven, and then we will cook the crust and get that ready. And we'll only cook that for about 10 minutes. Okay, so what we have is we're warming this up, but I took that one pie pan or cake pan and put it in upside down, and that's what we're going to put our pie on eventually. But we'll just let this warm up, and then we'll cook our crust. So now we have the meat all ready to go. We're preheating our Dutch oven to cook our crust. Now in the meantime, what we'll do is we'll prep the vegetables. So I'll start cutting up the bell pepper, the tomatoes, and the onion. Next is the tomato. Slice these up into nice chunks. What I like about this dish is it has a lot of color to it. It kind of makes it very appealing. Alright, so now we got our vegetables ready to go. Now we'll go and the oven should be warm enough, so we shall put the crust in and get that warmed up. Okay, so our Dutch oven's been warming up for about 15 minutes. And so now what we do is we take the pan with the crust in it, pop it in, put the lid back on, and then we'll come back in about 10 minutes and check it, but it should be just firmed up, so we can put the pie ingredients in inside and then cook it. Remember to dump the liquid off of that. These are diced tomatoes. These are our green chilies. If you want to be a little bit spicy, if you had some jalapeno, you could chop that up and put that in there too. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. Take the lid off. And we'll take this in and build out our pie. And yeah, you can just kind of feel it's got a little bit of, it's perfect. So we'll go fill up our pie. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just kind of put a little bit of layer these things in there and just kind of fill up the pie. Okay, we'll put a little bit of onions in there. A little bit of bell peppers. Some tomatoes. We'll save a few of these for on top, because what we're going to do is chop up some lettuce, and then when the pie is done, we'll put a little bit of lettuce and tomatoes on the top, and you kind of eat it all in a slice. Okay, so we drained the liquid off of these pinto beans. Some on there. Around, looks good. Here's some of our green chilies. Adds a nice flavor to it. Some diced tomatoes. Okay, and then we'll put in, we got some salsa here too. Kind of spread that around. There we go. So you can see this pie took a little bit less of the ingredients than I thought, but depending if you have a big pan, you can put more ingredients in, or if you made a second one. So now I just take this cheese, kind of put it over the top, because that's just gonna kind of melt in there. I like cheese. Okay. Just kind of smear that around, get it all kind of even. Okay, now we're ready to put our pie back into the oven, and we'll let it cook, and then we'll check it. This probably will take about a half hour, and we'll see you then. Okay, so now it's been cooking for about 15-20 minutes. So what we're going to do is take the lid off. Oh yeah, that's looking good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put this down on the side. I'm going to rotate this guy. why, if you're new to Dutch oven cooking, that we rotate it like that is so we get even heat. Sometimes there can be pockets of heat, and when you rotate it like that over the bottom coals and then turn it on the top, then that gets the may move the hot spot to another location so it cooks more even. All right, so it's been a little over, just over a half hour. So now we'll pull the cover off. Take a look. Whoa, look at that. That is perfect. See, there's just a little bit of, it's all nice and melted. And so we'll take this inside and we'll let it rest for about 5-10 minutes. Then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes and then we've let it rest really good. It stopped bubbling in that. So now I had chopped up a little bit of lettuce, and then we have some of those extra tomatoes. And what we'll do, this is kind of a one dish meal, so what I'm going to do is put our lettuce right on the top. So you get all your veggies and your main dish and everything in one shot. Take some of these tomatoes. I just love the color of this. Makes your meal fun. Okay. Now we'll plate it up.